preference of the amount of conclusions that you hold about the world that we share? What is your preference as to what percentage of those are accurate?
I don't have a good answer for that. I don't know.
So you live in Spain.
Yes. But I'm from here, so.
Are you from Olympia?
I'm from Lewis County.
Lewis County, okay, cool. Close enough.
Yeah. Working up here.
Awesome. What took you to Spain? You don't have to answer, but
Oh,
I was
yeah.
just curious.
So I went to Spain to do a master's and got there about 6 months before COVID hit. And
Oh, okay.
then I was like, I want to stay. Need to know a little bit more about Europe. I studied Spanish, so it's kind of like the perfect place if you like Spanish.
Yeah.
And people are really social, and there's a good work-life balance.
Kind of a different world, huh?
Totally. That's why this whole idea of truth is like, well, what is true or what would have been true for me 10 years ago is not maybe what's true now. Or maybe there's more than one truth.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So, did you come up with something that
I did not. So I'll either take the words, you guys.
want to do? Can of words?
I'll do can of words.
All right. Now you can skip the word.
Okay.
Pick a different one if you want. The colors don't matter. It's just that I ran out of a certain color of Post-its.
Sweet.
But yeah, you can
Just pick like a couple of them.
pick one.
Okay.
And then if you want to skip it, if you don't like the word, we can pick a different one. But sometimes that can kind of generate an idea that you might want to talk about.
Okay.
So what's the word?
The word is ignorance.
Ignorance?
Yeah.
That one's been coming up a lot.
Okay.
You want to talk about ignorance?
Sure. Let's talk about ignorance.
Okay, and it's Kelly, right?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yep.
Okay. Ignorance. So how do you define ignorance?
I think ignorance, I want to look at it in kind of an innocent way of like ignorance just being not knowing. Now, for whatever circumstance that may be, I think ignorance a lot of times nowadays gets overused and is used for shame.
Okay.
Especially maybe politically, about people being ignorant about certain topics. And I think it's kind of like a hot word used to kind of like for the opposite of what we want. So if ignorance is not knowing, and let's say that I'm ignorant, and somebody is saying, you're ignorant on this topic, then why would I want to educate myself on it? And so I think shame gets used a lot. And the topic that I wanted to talk about was like mental health. And I think a lot of times these words and using shame as a tool instead of using education actually like further divides us and like closes down that conversation. Like if I feel shamed, I'm not going to be open to wanting to know, because if I'm the person who doesn't know and you're the person who does know, I don't want to be like you. So why do I want to know?
So ignorance or not knowing, the word itself has gotten kind of a bad rap because people use it as a word to shame, and that can affect people's mental health.
I think it can affect people's mental health, but also just affect it. Shame is a tool to, like, instead of helping people, instead of having a conversation, instead of having a dialogue, instead of saying, hey, actually, have you taken a look at this? Have you experienced this? It, like, instantly shuts people down.
Okay. You said ignorance is not knowing. What's your definition for knowing or to know something?
To know something, I have a partner teacher that says, how do you know what you don't know? You don't know.
Uh huh.
So, what is the word for knowing? I think it's accepting that you're never gonna know it all. I think, like, being conscious that like, knowledge is power, and that um, if you're knowledgeable, you recognize that that's a power that you have, and that you're gonna use that to help others.
Would you say that part of knowing or part of knowledge is to understand or accept that you don't know some things? Okay.
I think knowledge is like humbling. I think I shared with you that I live in Spain, and I felt like when I got there, it was like I was stumbling in the dark, but I knew there was, like, big obstacles, but I didn't see them. I couldn't see them because everything was so new. And I think that's part of knowledge, is like, hey, there's so much I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It's out there. Yeah.
Is there something that you would say that you know?
If I know anything, I think that being kind to people matters, and being open and giving people an opportunity.
Being kind to others and being open. And what was the last thing?
Being kind to others, being open to others.
Okay.
And the last thing I would share is listening. I think listening is probably the most powerful tool that we have.
Listening is the most powerful tool that we have. Okay. And that's something that you would say that you know?
I would say that I know that.
You know that. Okay. How on a scale from 0 to 100, how confident are you that that's true? That listening is our most powerful tool.
Well, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. So. There's the science for you right there.
What power do we get from listening?
What power do we get from listening? Knowledge.
Okay.
Empathy.
Okay. Okay.
Understanding. That's why I'm here. First thing I did was sat down and I wanted to listen to you and kind of see what this was about.
Uh-huh.
And pick up. Okay, what kind of listener are you? Are you here for your own show and trying to be this influencer where it's all about you, or I kind of wanted to see what your aim was. And
Okay. And so, since you listened to me explain, you were able to gain knowledge, and now you know more, and that's an example of listening being a powerful tool.
yeah, and I was curious, and I think it helped me be open to something. Like, I've never done an interview, to be honest. This is, like, makes me kind of nervous, but at the same time, it's like a good challenge, and I think listening also builds trust. It's like, hey, okay, like, we don't have to see eye to eye, but at least you're gonna listen to me. So even if I say something ridiculous,
Uh-huh.
you're not gonna shame me.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad that you get that
Hopefully.
that attitude from me.
That's what I picked up, and that's what I'm
Yeah.
getting.
Great. That's awesome. Okay. So, on a scale from 0 to 100, how confident are you that listening is our most powerful tool to gain knowledge?
90%.
90?
90%.
Okay. All right.
I know you're waiting for that 100.
No, I'm generally curious. It kind of helps me gauge. So, on that same scale, 0 to 100, about confidence, how confident are you that when I let this pen go, it'll fall and hit the whiteboard?
Like 98.
98?
Yeah, it depends on the wind. There's a little bit of a breeze. Maybe it's gonna like, a strong gust will come. There's
Okay,
factors that.
cool. And then earlier, I asked what percentage of your conclusions do you think are accurate? And I think you said 80, right?
Yeah.
80? Okay. You can change these at any time.
No, I like to leave a margin to be for someone else's opinion or for someone else to come in and say, actually, have you considered this?
Okay. And the percentage of conclusions you hope to be true, I think you said 90?
Yeah.
90, okay. And so I'm trying to remember, does that mean that you hope 10% are inaccurate?
Related to this, no, I hope that, well, yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe,
You hope that 10% of your conclusions are inaccurate. Is that accurate?
do I hope? No, but I'm willing to have that margin of error
Okay.
or to like be open.
I'm asking about the hope part, your preference, like
My
your
preference.
preference of the amount of conclusions that you hold about the world that we share. What is your preference as to what percentage of those are accurate?
I don't have a good answer for that. I don't know.
It's cool.
Because so much of my life has changed. Like if you had asked me 10 years ago, I could have said that almost everything in my life was true. But then, maybe about 3 years ago, my whole life changed. And everything's subjective.
Okay. Everything is subjective.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I ask you about that?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a thought experiment. So, what do you mean by everything is subjective? Do you mean that everything depends? Maybe you can just explain that.
So maybe like, okay, there are certain things that are true. The sky's blue.
Okay.
Ice
So
melts
that's
when
not subjective?
well, what about people who are colorblind?
Yeah.
They're not going to say that the sky is blue. Maybe they see it a different color.
Can you think of anything that is not subjective? I guess maybe that's what I'll ask.
Not subjective. Oh, like ice melts once you heat it.
Okay. Okay.
There are certain things that are facts.
Okay.
But I think like our experiences and the environments in which we grow up, what we're exposed to, play a really big role in shaping our beliefs, because beliefs are kind of like what we they're not facts. Beliefs aren't facts.
Beliefs are not facts. There's some beliefs that are not true. Would you say that?
Yeah, but I would say that there are beliefs that aren't true to me, but some people really believe in them.
Does How much does belief affect whether something's true?
A lot. You've seen like the placebo effect. So if people believe it, then it can become true.
Okay.
And for better or for worse. And going back to mental health, like studies have shown the more you think about negative things, the more negative your life becomes, whereas positive kind of turns into positive.
And that's the subjectivity you were talking about? Okay, okay. Um, what's the main reason that causes you to be 90% confident that listening is our most powerful tool to gain knowledge?
Um, because I've seen it work. Um, as an educator, I've seen it work both in and outside of the classroom, in the sense of like when you listen to someone else, like they listen to you. And that's my one classroom rule on respect. And I always do it with a hand raise, So I say, okay, raise your hand if you love to talk and you love when people listen to you, And everybody raises their hand. And then I ask the same thing. Okay, raise your hand if you love when you're talking and someone's talking over you or not listening, and everybody's hand goes down.
Okay. So,
So about 90% say, hey, we like it when people listen to us. And it's like, okay, so what's the trick? It's an exchange.
uh-huh. You have to listen to others if you want them to listen to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So would it be accurate for me to say that the main reason that supports your confidence in this is your experiences with your classes?
With my classes, but just in like interpersonal relationships as well. And something that drew me to this conversation was I like to have open dialogues with people, and maybe my beliefs are very different. Um, but a lot of times people maybe don't know that my beliefs are different than theirs because I'm willing to hear them out
Mm.
and kind of like having a conversation and listening to both sides without interrupting, you know. The other weekend I was in my hometown, had a conversation about what's going on now, like COVID, vaccines, and my brother was like, Kelly, stop talking about this. And I'm like, no, I want to show that we can have a conversation about this
Mm.
and have it like everybody can talk. And we all talked, we all listened, we all had different views. And we left like exchanging Facebooks.
Oh, cool. So it didn't end badly.
No. But
That's
I've
good.
done that, you know, like,
Yeah,
and those are people I didn't know that we just met. So,
got it. Just a couple more questions because you said earlier you had to go. Um, what would raise your confidence in this conclusion? Is there something that you don't know now that could cause you to go from 90 to say 95 or even higher?
if we could figure out why it's so hard to listen to other people,
Okay,
or if
if
somebody
we
could show me a tool that's more powerful than listening.
okay,
Can I ask you that? Do you think there's a tool more powerful than listening?
to gain knowledge,
Yeah.
I'm open to there being a more powerful tool. I'd have to think about it.
Okay.
Some things that come to mind is like, do we have to listen to research? Do we have to listen to be able to read something to gain knowledge? In a way, that's kind of listening though, because you're listening to what the author
Mhm.
wrote down.
Mhm.
So I guess it depends on where you draw the line between researching and listening. I guess it can kind of be combined. Um, what what would cause you to lower your confidence in this?
What will cause me to lower my confidence in this? I don't know. I'm pretty firm in it. I think if anyone were to lower my confidence, it would be then saying, no, 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 listening. I think it's maybe people who don't believe in it, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm pretty strong.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. I'm pretty strong in this one.
Do you think it's important to have ways that would lower your confidence in something? Not to necessarily lower your confidence, but do you think it's important to be able to know when your confidence should be lowered?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
But currently you can't think of anything that would lower your confidence
No, I mean
and you're at 90?
somebody might challenge my idea and say that maybe there's something more, or you posed a question, kind of like what is it? Is it research? Does it have to be like auditory? Do we have to be
Right.
listening? Could it be reading? Could it be something visual?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like, so I guess those are things that maybe challenge my statement or make it need more like redefining.
Okay. Are you still at 90?
I'm still a 90.
Okay. Cool.
Maybe 91.
91? Okay. Cool. Yeah. Any questions for me, and then we can wrap up?
Yeah, I want to ask you, like, what do you think is something powerful? Like, if it's not listening, what do you think is a powerful tool? What do you think?
To gain knowledge?
Yeah, what do we need to gain knowledge?
Yeah, I think just some things that come to mind, maybe paying attention to history, learning from mistakes, learning from other people's mistakes, and that could require listening.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I don't disagree with you that listening is our most powerful tool. Um, but I think it's important to. Okay, so okay, here's my last question.
Yeah, yeah, for
Probably.
sure. Go ahead.
Is there a way to tell if you were mistaken about this?
I mean, I think we could test it, right?
Okay,
And how do you
what
know
would
if
be a
people
good
are
test?
listening? Well, how do you know if people are listening?
Yeah,
How do you know if I'm listening?
yeah,
Or if I'm just saying yeah?
yeah. By looking at me, repeating what I say back in your own words to make sure that you understand, which is kind of like what I like to try to do.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I'm better at that than other times. But yeah, hearing you and giving you signs that I'm understanding what you're saying. And if I repeat back to you in my own words, it kind of does a couple of things. It lets you know that I'm hearing you and listening to you, but also gives you an opportunity to correct me if I'm repeating back something that's not accurate.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be a couple of ways.
And it also shows me like how you process information and like how you're interpreting it, because
Yeah.
maybe how you say it back is not exactly what I meant, but it's how you've interpreted it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
Anything else?
No, this is great. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, I don't.
Cool.
I just want to say thank you.
Absolutely.
Like, this is cool. I want to just give you a bunch of support and, like, share, follow, subscribe.
Excellent. Thanks so much.
It's really coming down. Do you have something in mind?
Yeah. Are you gonna be around for a while? Because if you see me again, we can have another chat.
Okay.
One of my goals is, or one way that I know that I did a good job was if you want to have another conversation.
Okay. Are you going to be here this week?
Probably.
Tonight? Or
Not tonight. I'm probably gonna take off here pretty soon.
Okay.
But I'm here. I'm over in Percival Landing sometimes. I'm up at
Okay.
the Capitol,
Okay.
at some of the parks, up and down the Chehalis Western Trail.
Mm.
I try to go where I think there's going to be the most people. And usually if the weather is nice,
This is a good spot.
yeah, I try to be out and about and just kind of connecting with folks.
Do you also have Instagram?
I'm trying to remember if this particular channel has Instagram. I probably do. I probably have an account, but I'm never on there. I probably just have information on the Instagram on how to get to the YouTube channel.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I got you on the YouTube channel.
Sweet.
Yeah, because I'm like working in the area. And so, yeah, I'll be around this
Awesome.
week.
Yeah, if you see me again and you want to have another chat, feel free to sit down. We can do another word. We can.
Here's your word. Sorry. I was like,
yeah.
if you let me hold on to it, I'm going to accidentally run
This
with
has
it.
been like the last three kind of words has been, or not the last three. It's been a pretty popular word recently. I probably need to shuffle these a little
Well, and
bit
it's
better.
kind of at the top.
Yeah, and it's not bad because you can go a lot of places with ignorance being an idea to examine. So
That was great.
I appreciate your participation. That was fantastic.
Do you mind? Can we take a picture? Can
Absolutely.
I get a picture
Yeah.
with you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay,
However you
got to
want.
get the Capitol in the background.
Exactly.
1, 2, 3. Is Dave?
David.
David.
Yeah.
Hey,
Nice to meet you.
I'm taking a class right now, but
Oh, great.
yeah, hate
Awesome.
to cut it short. I really appreciate your time and
Yeah.
hope to chat with you again.
Absolutely.
Take care.
Yeah. Que le vaya bien. Buena suerte.
Muy amable, gracias.